You're listening to another ASCI Lounge podcast.
Welcome ASCI members back to the ASCI Lounge. I'm Monique Fennick, Australasian Supply Chain Institute, and today on the ASCI Lounge update we have with us our CEO Ivan Imperato. Welcome Ivan.
Welcome Monique and welcome everyone.
Thanks for joining us again today. This week we have an update on some events that have taken place last week and also what's coming up on the 1st of May, which is a breakfast with Microsoft. And it's also with our sponsor JDA, who wants to address how retail is enabling, how technology is enabling the new retail.
Yeah, that's correct. So I'm looking forward to that one because I'm a tech head as well, right? So coming from an IT background, and with all this machine learning and artificial intelligence and robotics and the Microsoft ad in the AFR, and actually Microsoft are going to be there, as you know, on a panel talking about how technology enabling new retail. So I think there'll be a lot of questions, a lot of interactive discussion. So that'll be a really interesting breakfast, 7:30 a.m. to about 9:30, I think it is, at the Michael Page offices at Grosvenor Place.
Yeah, that's right, and that's something that all ASCI members are welcome to attend, not just those in the retail sector, isn't that right? Because it's an application of technology which you can take back to your own industry, can't you?
Yeah, of course, that's right. So it's not limited to retail, although there's a lot of focus on the retail sector. But as you say, yes, correct. You can apply anything you learn, you can apply back to your environment. So I think it's a worthwhile couple of hours spent in the morning.
Yeah, and you spent a couple of hours with the Australian Institute for Project Management last week, didn't you, Ivan?
Yeah, that's right. I think I mentioned it at the last podcast. It was about procurement mainly, and the topic was, can procurement deliver social value changes? Quite a broad topic of discussion, and ACOM, being a global engineering firm, was there, and also Laser Fair was presenting on their catering experience coming from a supplier. So it was a really, really good panel. It was about 50 people, and I got the opportunity to talk about what we're doing with ASCI, what our members do, what the industry is doing, and some of the things I've learned is that I think the answer to that question is yes. Yes, it does change, or yes, it can add value, but it's more about leadership in the organisations, more about people knowing where their roles and responsibilities lie. Because I mentioned a study that the Association of Supply Chain Management in the US did a little while ago, right? And they did a survey of about 1,000 members. 80% of them said, yeah, it's really important. And 30% said, oh, we understand it, but we don't know whose responsibility it is. so it was quite interesting, 30% don't even know who's responsible. And I think I made a point that if you're in supply chain, it's everyone's responsibility ultimately. So I got quite a good response when I said that, and ultimately it is, right. If you're in supply chain, you're responsible. So just cut to the chase and get on with it, right? Is my response. And from an individual point of view, I think the room was quite animated, and a lot of questions about education, communication. People don't understand it, so it's about communicating, about clarification, what my role is, where does it link, can I contribute, and those sort of discussions, which ultimately, if you can contribute, yeah, there's a benefit. And if you don't understand, then, try and understand it and you will contribute to it. So it was really a good few hours. And a quote I left with them was a quote by Patricia Espinosa. I think I also did it in my LinkedIn post last week. And she says, by raising awareness of the positive aspects of supply chain action, it's possible to deliver tangible benefits and results to the bottom line. So it's quite clear, right? So you make your supply chain actions aware, or make them aware, make people aware of them, and you get tangible benefits. So it was quite a clear and and succinct statement. So I left them with that, and that's what. And that's where we opened up to questions and answer, and it was quite an interesting night. So very
Yeah,
enjoyable.
that sounds fantastic. And I think all our members would resonate with that as well. And especially, people in the warehouse are nodding their heads right now saying, thank God someone's, looking at the end to end picture here, because often they're left with the problem and not knowing how it's ended up where it is and so forth. I think that's really important. Education, like you said, and visibility across the supply chain. And so education, tell me more about what some call to action might be for some people thinking about how they might transition their teams to this kind of non-silo idea.
Yeah. So education. I mean, I'm very passionate about it, as you know. APIC's been a certified. You know, they offer the best certifications in the world. People ask me, well, what's the right one for me? And the answer to that really depends on what your focus is in your career, and you can apply that in your team. What is the focus of your team? Where's your team headed? Where's your organization headed? What are your goals? What are your aspirations? Once you know that, then you can apply a training platform and a training pathway. So I don't want to give too much away, Monique, to be honest, because we're planning some really interesting podcasts on training, and we can explain a little bit more about Apex. But and that'll come out soon. I'm not sure, but I'll keep our members waiting for that one. but what
That'll
I
be
want to say,
fantastic.
but
That'll
what I
be
want to say,
fantastic. Don't keep
yeah,
us waiting.
yeah,
Oh,
no, but
that's
yeah,
good. I think that will be much appreciated by a
oh, I
lot of
think
people
so.
who have so many questions about, this different, which one's right for me? How
Yeah,
do
which
I
one is
get
right for me?
started?
How do I get started? And the key
Will I
thing
pass the
is,
exam?
yeah, that's right. Well, if you study, you will. And it's not easy, right? If you want to
Mm,
get it, you got to put your mouth or your money where your mouth is, if that's the right way to say it. But
mm.
certification ultimately validates your mastery of a body of knowledge, right? Covered by the certification. You put the hard work in, you get recognition at the end of it, and it then leads to professionalization or accreditation. And the registered professional in supply chain management is where we're going. So it's got a nice segue into that, and being a practitioner is the first step, and then you ultimately become a professional. So then again, that's something I know we're putting a little bit more focus with. Some focused emails coming out, I understand, over the next week or so in that space. But I encourage everyone to, have a bit of a look on the website, go on the ASCI website, have a look at APIX, what they offer. But there'll be a lot more about what is the right certification for me coming up very soon.
Yeah, and I think as we head into Easter and Anzac Day, and I think the whole country is taking the week off except for retail and FMCG,
Yeah, that's right.
that's a good chance for everybody to reflect on their careers and give it
Yeah,
give it
exactly.
some thought as to
Give it.
what's next for me.
Yeah, exactly right. So on that note, I think I'd like to wish everyone at ASCI and the team and yourself and everyone in the community, in our community, our members, our sponsors, our collaboration partners, a very safe and happy Easter break. And let's all get back re-energized and start off very busy month of May, I think.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks so much for joining us on the ASCII
Thank you
Lounge,
very
Ivan,
much. Have a great evening.
and bye for now.